Hello friends, welcome to SARAL JAPANI YouTube channel. I am Sujay Chatterjee welcoming you on the 17th lesson of this series on Japanese language learning for beginners. I hope you have gone through the previous 16 lessons of this series and must have got benefited from them. If you haven't watched them, then do watch so as to keep the learning process in correct sequence and for the ease of understanding of the upcoming lessons. So here we start lesson 17, Kanji grade 1, 1 to 20 of 80. As stated in previous lesson, the Japanese Education Ministry has distributed the 2136 kanji characters across the 12 grades of school education. So when we begin with the 80 characters included in grade 1, we shall be covering these 80 characters in the next 4 lessons starting with today's lesson. And today is the first part, that is the first 20 of the 80 kanji characters. Before we begin with the first character, let me summarize what all we shall be looking into for each kanji character. First, the character or the symbol and how it looks like. Then the on'yomi and kun'yomi readings of that character and their meanings. Then the radicals and parts involved in that character. The stroke order for writing the character and the origin, evolution or logic behind that character. Now for each kanji character, we come across two types of readings, on'yomi and kun'yomi. So let us see what are these two. Both on'yomi and kun'yomi refer to a way of reading a particular kanji. On'yomi is a pronunciation derived from Chinese, where kanji originated, while kun'yomi is the Japanese pronunciation of the kanji. On'yomi is often used for standalone kanji, referring to the literal meaning of the single character, while kun'yomi is more often used in compound words. Although the pronunciation of on'yomi is derived from Chinese, this doesn't mean that a Chinese person would understand on'yomi. This is because Japanese has a simple set of sounds, whereas Chinese has a much wider variety of sounds due to the use of tones in their pronunciation. So when the Japanese derived the on'yomi sounds from the Chinese versions, some of the sounds got eliminated or modified. So because of that, a Chinese person won't understand on'yomi even though it has been derived from Chinese. And Kun'yomi is the fully Japanese pronunciation of the kanji. Instead of borrowing the Chinese pronunciation for that symbol, they applied this symbol to a Japanese word that already existed in the spoken language, using it to help construct the Japanese writing system. So this means the word was already there in Japanese, only that the pronunciation was applied, the word was applied to a Chinese symbol. So with this background, let's now move into the world of kanjis. And here is the first kanji character. The first character represents one. As you can see, it's represented as a horizontal lines like structure. The on reading could be ichi or itsu, and the kun reading is hito or hitotsu. Now you can see here in the on reading we have written in katakana, whereas the kun reading is written in hiragana. So this again explains the reason, like the on reading or the on'yomi reading has been borrowed from Chinese. That's why it's a foreign word for Japanese, and that's why it's written in katakana. As far as the meaning goes, ichi means one. Now, one important aspect about kanjis is that they may appear as standalone characters, or they may form compound words by joining with another kanji or some additional hiragana characters. And in this way, the compound kanjis may convey a wide range of meanings. But at this stage, you need not worry about such compound characters, as this is just the beginning of our kanji learning. However, to give some flavor of it, I have included few examples for each of the characters in which we form some compound words. So the first one is this ichi tai ichi, that means one to one or one on one. We have ichi ni, which means solely, entirely, only, or. So basically, this kanji means one or the numeral one, and this explanation is for the on'yomi reading. Now for kun'yomi, we have hitotsu, which again means one for one thing only or one kind of, and we have hitotsu, which means one by one or separately. The radical, it is itself a radical called the one radical. and the stroke order is from left to right. The second kanji is numeral 3. You might be wondering why we jumped from 1 to 3 instead of going to 2. The reason is that the kanji for 3 is derived from that of the 1 radical, while 2 is a radical in itself. So that's why the 3 kanji character has come before 2. This is the kanji for 3. The on reading is San and Zo. The kun reading is Mi, Mitsu, or Mitsu. The meaning is 3, Sun. In Kun'yomi, we call it Sun, and also these are some examples of compound words that are formed. This is Misoka. Misoka means last day of the month. You can see here 3 kanjis are there. This is the kanji for 3. This is the kanji for 10. This is the kanji for day. These two we shall be seeing later in this lesson. So this is 3, 10, 30 day. That means this is the 30th day or the last day of the month. Misoka. Similarly, we have Mitsu, that means 3 or 3 years of age. We have Mitsori, which is threefold or folded in 3. Then we have Mitsu no Mitsu, which is the 3 secrets or the 3 conditions that facilitate the transmission of infectious diseases. These are closed spaces, crowds, and close contact or physical contact. The radical is 1. As I just said, it has been derived from the radical 1. And this is the stroke order. First this line, then this one, and then the third one. So do remember the length of each of these lines and the sequence. The next is numeral 2, and this is a radical in itself. The on reading is ni or ji, and the kun reading is futa, futatsu, or futatabi. Ni means 2, and here you can see a compound word, fuji, which means being 2 sides of the same coin or being the same while appearing different. In kun, we have ni as 2. We have niju, which is double or twofold or even the eyelid. Then we have another niju, which means 20. We have futatsu, meaning 2. We have futatsume, futatsume, which is the next one or the second one. So as I said in the beginning, compound words can be formed by combination of kanji characters or combination of kanji with hiragana. So in this way, these words are formed. So you need not worry about all this. Just go through these kanji symbols and try to remember which symbol is which uh, for which meaning. So this is the stroke order, and the radical, it's itself a radical. Then we come to the next character, which is 5 or the numeral 5. This is the character. The on reading is go. The kun reading is itsu or itsutsu. It means 5, and daigo. Here it is written daigo, which means 5th. In Kun'yomi reading, we have go as 5, and we have itsutsu, 5 or 5 years of age, and also itsugo, we have which means quintuplets. Itsutsugo. The radical, it is derived from radical 2. So you can see here, this is 2 radical, and then these are the additional lines which makes it 5. This is the stroke order, the first line, the second line, the third line, and the fourth line. So there are 4 strokes involved in this character. So this is one interesting thing, how this kanji was evolved. So this is the original symbol of this kanji in ancient times. So one hypothesis explains that this may have meant 5 because when counting on a single hand, one first counts to 5 and then crosses back the other way to 10. So in this way, these 2 lines are these 2 lines. This line is this, and this portion is this one. So this is how this kanji was developed. The next kanji, the number 5 of today's lesson, is the person radical, or that represents man or human. The on reading is jin, nin. The kun readings are hito, ri, and to. So this is jin, that means person, man, human. or yeah, we can even uh, uh, represent a nationality or someone from belonging to some place like Italian, Tokyoite. This is Beijing, which means an American person. This is Nin. Nin is basically counter for people, means this many number of people. Then we have Dojin. Dojin means the same person, the said person, or the person in question. In Kun'yomi, we have Hito. Hito means person, someone, somebody, human, man, people, human, or Homo sapiens. Then we have Kijin, which means aristocrat, nobleman, dignitary, or someone of high rank. We have Hito, which means a good natured person, a good person, one's lover, that is a boyfriend or a girlfriend. This is a radical in itself, and this is the stroke order. And how it originated, so you can see the resemblance. This is a person, and this is how this symbol has been derived. Next is the next kanji character is enter or insert. This is the symbol, and the on reading is new or ju, and the kun readings are iru, iri, ireru, ire, and hairu. New, it means enter somewhere, that is enrollment in school, park, garden, shop, hospital. That is, it basically implies entering somewhere. This is, you can see here, the kanji for enter, and this is the kanji for water. That means entering water. So this is used to represent jusui. Jusui means suicide by drowning, drowning oneself, entering the water or hitting the water. This is again iru, which means to enter, to go in, to get in, to come in, the setting of the sun or the moon, to sink, that is to go down, to attain nirvana or enlightenment, to achieve, to reach, for example, a climax, to do fully, to do intently, to do sincerely, to do deeply, to feel keenly, or to reach a state completely. This is again a radical in itself, and this is the stroke order. So first we draw this portion, and then we draw this portion. So there are two strokes. And this is the logic behind it. So we see that something is getting converged here. That means it is entering somewhere. And from here, this symbol has been derived. The next kanji symbol is that of big or large. The on reading is dai and tai. The kun reading is o or oki or o ini. Dai means large, big, great, huge, vast, major, important, serious, severe, great, prominent, eminent, distinguished. So this symbol may be used to impart any of these meanings, and this is Dai. Here, this is Tai. Tai means the captain or lieutenant of the army, navy, or air force. We have Kokudai. Kokudai is National University, and this is Ontai. Ontai means the boss, governor, or a headman of the state. In Kun'yomi, we have Oki, Oki, which means big, large, great, loud, extensive, spacious, important, decisive, valuable, older, or grown up. So now this is not a radical, but it is a derived character, and the radical used here is the person radical. So this is the person radical, and we have this straight line. So this is how it is written. And next we will see how it came. So see, this is a person. This is the person radical with arms stretched out as far as possible, like this. And this implies the meaning of being great, big, or large. So from here, this character has come. So this is big or large. The next is the heaven, sky, imperial. This is the kanji for the heaven or sky. And the on reading is 10. Kun reading is amatsu, ame, or ama. 10 means sky, heaven, God, Deva, that is the divine being of Buddhism. The top of a book, the sole of a Japanese sandal, beginning, start, tempura, and even India. Tenka, Tenka is a compound word that means the whole world, the whole country, the society, or the public. N10 meaning blazing heat or the scorching sun. In Kun'yomi, we have Amatsu, meaning heavenly or imperial. Amatsu Otome. This is Amatsu Otome, meaning celestial maiden. We have Ame as sky. We have Tenchi as heaven and earth, the universe, the world, nature, land, world, realm, sphere, top and bottom. That means the entirety. The radical of this symbol is big or vast radical that we just saw in the last slide. So this is the big or large radical, and we have a top layer. So the top horizontal line represents that the sky is the upper limit. So this is the limit of the sky. That is the topmost thing that can happen. That is the sky or the heaven. And this is the stroke order. Next is the fire radical. In On'yomi, we have Ka. In Kun'yomi, we have He, Bi, or Ho. Ka means fire, the second of the five elements. It is also used to represent Tuesday. We have Hakka, meaning ignition, combustion, catching fire, firing a blank cartridge, discharge of a gun without bullets. In Kun'yomi, we have He as fire, flame, or blaze. We have Tobihi, meaning leaping flames, flying sparks, spread of fire due to leaping flames, repercussions in unanticipated areas, spilling over, effects of an incident spreading to those seemingly uninvolved. And we have Shiranui. Shiranui means phosphorescent light, mysterious lights on the sea, that is the sea fire. So you can see like there is a great diverse, there is a diverse kind of words that can be formed using this radical. This is a radical and this is the stroke order. And this is from where it has come. So it is very much clear that it represents fire. Next is the dog. In on reading, we have Ken. In Kun, we have Inu. Ken means dog. Inu means dog as well. And it may also mean snitch, informer, informant, spy, loser, asshole, counterfeit, inferior, useless, wasteful. We have here Inu Awase. Inu Awase means dogfight, and this one is Nora Inu, which means stray dog. It is a radical in itself, and if you look it carefully, then you will see, although it represents uh, the the character for being large, but it is actually this is the man radical, and these two represents the four legs of the dog, and this is the tail. So since dog has been man's best friend, so this similar kanji has been adopted for dog. This is the stroke order. The next radical, this is one of the most important ones, which you will see in abundance everywhere. This is the sun radical or the day radical, also used to represent Japan as Nihon, and it is a counter for days as well. The on reading is Nichi and Jitsu. The kun reading is Hi, Bi, or Ka. So we have Nichi, Sunday or day of the month, and counter for days, and also it's part of Nihon or Japan. We have Nichiji, meaning date and time. We have Jitsugai, Jitsugai as once upon a time or some time ago. Then we have He in Kun'yomi, meaning day, days, sun, sunshine, sunlight, daytime, daylight, date, deadline, past days. So it may be used to represent any of these with some modifications. Then we have Hikage, meaning shade or shadow. We have this is Arishihi, Arishihi, which means past days or bygone days, days of yore, the olden days, while still alive during one's lifetime. So for these phrases as well, this may be used. Then we have the next one as Aku Nihi. This is Aku Ruhi, which means the next day or the following day. This is a radical in itself, and this is the stroke order. First this vertical stroke, then this one, then the third stroke, and this is the fourth stroke. And now let us see from where it came. This is the sun. Sun makes day and night, and that's why from here this symbol has come, and these two compartments represents day and night. The next, the 12th kanji character, white. It represents white. So the on reading is haku or byaku, and the kun reading is shiro, shira, or shiroi. Haku means white or stripped mullet fry, spoken line in a play, film, etc. One's lines, white dragon tile, Belgium, white person or Caucasian. Then we have hakui, which means white clothes, white robe, white gown, especially worn by the doctors, chemists, etc. Then we have bihaku. Bihaku means beautifully white. In the kun reading, we have shiro, which means white or innocence or blank space. And we have shiroi, meaning white as well. And we have omoshiro. This is omoshiro, which means amusing, funny, or interesting. It is a radical by itself, and unfortunately, the logic for this symbol is still unclear. There are justifications, but there is nothing concrete about the selection of this symbol to represent white. This is the stroke order. Next is the I kanji character. The on reading is moku and boku. The kun reading is me or ma. This is the on meanings. Moku means order or item of a budget revision, etc. Counter for go pieces and counter for surrounded positions as well. So different combinations may represent all these meanings when properly represented. Chakumoku, this one is chakumoku, which means attention, giving one's attention or focusing. And in Kun'yomi, this symbol means eye or eyeball, eyesight, vision, look, stare, gaze, glance, notice, attention, observation, eyes of the world, public, etc. So anything related to eye and vision and attention will be represented with this character and with some additional characters in kanji or hiragana. It is a radical by itself, and this is the stroke order. It is important to follow the stroke order as set up. So this is the logic behind this. This is the eye, and there are three compartments, three parts of the eye, and this character represents these three compartments. The 14th character is shellfish. On reading is bai, kun reading is kai, and this is nothing but the Japanese Babylon. Species of shelled mollusk, Babylonia japonica is the scientific name. Japanese ivory shell, spinning top, traditionally made from a Japanese Babylon shell. And baika is known as the shell money. In Kun'yomi again, it's kai, shellfish, seashell, or simply shell, and this is also called kaigara. It is again a radical by itself. This is the stroke order, and this is how it evolved. So this is the logic basically, so which is clearly visible. The 15th radical is again a very important one, which represents moon and month. So the on reading is getsu and gatsu, and kun reading is tsuki. When called getsu, it is the Monday. When called gatsu, it is the month. So here you can see it's getsuchu, which means for the whole month, and getsurin means full moon. This is tsuki. Tsuki means moon, month, moonlight, a moon or a natural satellite, and getsumatsu means end of the month. It is again a radical. This is the stroke order. This is the logic behind this symbol. As you can clearly see, the overall structure is that of a crescent moon, and the two compartments. These two compartments basically represent the two phases of a lunar month, that is the waxing and the waning phases. The 16th symbol is for mouth or opening. The on reading is ku, ko or ku. The kun reading is kuchi. It represents the mouth, speech, or counter for people or implements. Kaiku means opening or aperture, for example, of a camera, opening one's mouth, beginning to speak or open something. We have kuchi as mouth opening hole, gap, orifice, mouth of a bottle, spout, nozzle, mouthpiece, gate, door, entrance, or even exit. In Kun'yomi, we have the same kuchi as mentioned just above, and we also have O kuchi. So here you can see this character we already studied. This is for big, which is O, and this is kuchi. So this means a big mouth or a big opening. So mouth open wide, boastful speech, tall talk, bragging, boasting, large amount and large quantity. All these may be represented using this O kuchi. This is a radical by itself, and this is the stroke order. So there are three strokes to write this. And this has come from this, which shows a mouth wide open. So this is like the open mouth. The 17th one is numeral 4. It is called shi in On'yomi and yon in Kun'yomi. Also yo, yotsu, yotsu are also used at relevant places. So it represents 4. When it is called yotsu, it is basically represents 4 years of age. We have yotsu kado, which means 4 corners or crossroads intersecting street or the street corner. Its radical is the enclosure radical, which we just saw in the previous slide, that is kuchi. And 4 sides as in mouth radical with the inner markings. These 2 markings are to differentiate it from the mouth radical. So this represents 4. This is the stroke order. There are 5 strokes to complete this character. The 18th one is exit, or to go out, to leave, or to come out of somewhere. It's called shutsu or sui in On'yomi, and deru, de, das, dasu, or ideru and idasu in Kun'yomi. Shutsu means coming out, emerging, being born into a certain family, being a native of a particular place. Deru, deru means to leave or to exit, to go out, to come out, to get out, to leave on a journey, to depart, to start out, to set out, to appear, to come out, to flow, for example, tears, to run, to bleed, to ejaculate, etc. We have das. Das means to take out, to get out, to put out, to reveal, to show, to submit, for example, a thesis. And we have ideru means to go and to come. So depending upon the situation, and applicability, the respective, the particular version of this kanji will be used. This is a composite kanji whose radical will be a container, a open mouth container like this, and from this exit has been derived. So this is the stroke order. There are several strokes. So there are basically 5 strokes to complete this. The 19th radical is the 19th kanji character is 10. It is called Ju or Jitsu or Jutsu. The kun reading is to or so. The Ju, which we have already come across this during our numbers and counting lesson. So Ju means 10, 10 years of age, a book containing a collection of poems. Then we have Daiju, which means 10. We have Jishi, which means the 10 fingers, and we have Jikai as the 10 times. And in Kun'yomi also, the meaning is the same, Ju. It is again a radical in itself. Initially around 1600 to 1000 BC period, 10 was just a vertical stroke and 1 was a horizontal stroke. Later, a horizontal stroke was added to 10, and from then this symbol has been like this. Otherwise, it was a single stroke, single vertical stroke. This is the stroke order. And the final for today is the final character for today's lesson is in, inside, middle, mean, or center. This is the kanji for that. In on, we have chu as the reading, and in kun, we have naka, uchi, or atari. Chu means medium, average, middle, moderation, middle school. It also represents China and second of 3, for example, sons, etc. This is Kyu Chu, which means a judicial court. In Kun'yomi, we have Naka, whose meaning is the same, that is middle or inside. Then we have Nakajima, which means island in a pond of water. We have No Naka, which means in the middle of a field. Then we have Sonna Naka. This is Sonna Naka, which means wherein, therein, thereinto. And we have Uchi, which means inside, home, within, while, amongst, during, etc. So for any of these, this kanji may be used. This is based on the radical line. The vertical line is the radical. And this is the stroke order, like this. So there is some logical interpretation and history behind this character. It represents a flagpole. Based on archaeological evidence, the middle box has been interpreted as a drum. This flagpole with a drum was placed in the center of a field to gather people and to detect the direction of the wind. In addition, the pronunciation of this kanji is reminiscent of the beating of a drum. Shuven interprets the character as a vertical stroke passing through the center of this character uchi kuchi, indicating the center. It has also been interpreted as an arrow in the center of a target.